All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday night here at FifthDimensionRadio.com here in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. We are We are filming on Monday, March 2nd, our first episode of March for March 4th, and with it being 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it is
10-cent beer night.
official sports show at FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And there's Bob right there. And Bob, we have an interesting week here. For multiple reasons here in Ohio. Very nice day outside, but I made the comment before we headed up to the station here. The nicest day, but the coldest day of the week, because this weekend, the first week of March for Ohio, we're going to see 50s, 60s, and even potentially 70s this weekend. All rain, though, so this is going to be a stay inside and watch kind of basketball week, which is big because Cavs season's heating up. Last regular season week for college basketball. NFL offseason is just getting started, and it's off to a hot start. We got so much to talk about already. I didn't even plan on talking football today, but there's been so much that's already happened. We're going to have to bring it up. And then 3 weeks from, it would be today, Wednesday, by the time they hear this, Major League Baseball season starts.
Yeah.
It's 3 weeks for my fantasy baseball draft start next week already. But yeah, it's Yankees at Giants, I believe. It's in U.S. by the way. You don't have to go. It's not in North Korea where you have to get up at 5 a.m. to watch the Dodgers play or anything like that.
So that's the first game of the year?
Correct. Let me see.
That ain't right. It used to be the very first game played was the Cincinnati Reds.
Right. You have
for years and years, being the first professional baseball team in America, they were always played the first game of the year. Well,
Yeah, opening night will be Wednesday, March 25th. The New York Yankees at the San Francisco Giants, 8:05 p.m. And then Thursday is going to be opening day for everybody else. There, so that's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be here before you know. Like I said, 3 weeks from today, Wednesday. So again, we're filming on Monday, so that's weird to say today. But from the first 10-cent beer night of March, we will have 3 weeks from that day. Baseball will be back. I mean, it's crazy to already be talking about, but I mean, like,
we got the World Classic starting up pretty soon too.
Yeah, we'll have you'll have plenty of that to watch there. Let's get into some basketball here. Cavaliers last week, I said if they could go 3-1 at worst 2-2, that'd be great. They went 2-2, and it was weird. It was weird how it all went down. So just a real quick look here. They beat the Knicks last week, 109-94, with James Harden at point guard the first time they played the Knicks with him on the team. They looked really, really good. Everything went well. Then Wednesday comes, and we get news Donovan Mitchell's out with a groin injury, and James Harden broke his finger on his right hand. He shoots left. He breaks his finger. It might have been his thumb. On his,
I think it was some.
Yeah, on his right hand, and so with the Bucks right down Giannis Antetokounmpo at the time, and he's coming back tonight, like Monday night. So by the time you hear it, you'll already know the result of his game. But he's going to finally officially return to Milwaukee tonight after months with an injury. So Cavs were banged up going into Milwaukee. They lost 116-118 in that one. Jared Allen just missed the game-tying layup, hook shot, I should say, but they said he released it too late, and I mean by millisecond. It was so close. So they lost that one. Friday night, me and Bob were at the Akron-Kent game, so we didn't get to watch it, but they were at Detroit. They lost in overtime 119-122. They were up by 3 in the final play, 4 seconds left. And a Pistons player went to go heave it from half court, and one of the Jalen Tyson, for whatever reason, fouled him. And they put him on the line, and he tied the game, and that went to overtime. Jared Allen and Cade Cunningham fouled out. It was a good game. Now I'll say,
if you see a guy going for a half court shot, let him take it.
Right,
because it's going to be a 50-50 chance of him making that.
If he makes it, it's tied. You know, if that was if that
But
was
if he
to
misses,
win,
we win.
right. If that was to win the game, I still wouldn't have fouled him, but I would understood the urgency to get in his face. But again, if it was to tie the game, might as well just let him chuck it and see what he can do. Because if he makes it good for him, I mean, still. But again, you fouled him though after everything you. I mean, because that was there was so much drama, fans getting escorted out of the building, all kinds of. I mean, a lot of things happened in that game. Now, I will say the report that was from some of the Cavs inside journalists were saying after the game in the locker, because remember the Pistons are number 1 in the East. They said the attitude in the locker room was everybody said, look, if this was a playoff game, everybody healthy, there's no way they would beat us in the best of 7. That was the attitude. They said what they've seen so far from they played them 3 times. They're 1-2 against them as we're recording. They would be playing on the 4th time by the time you hear this, but their attitude was we could beat this team easy in a playoff.
If they're healthy.
Yeah, if they're healthy again. And they were without Dean Wade, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden, and Keon Ellis, who also broke his finger. It's been a mess. And then so their first game of March was Sunday. They were at Brooklyn against the Nets. The Nets put up a bigger fight, but the Cavs won 106-102. James Harden nearly with the triple-double. He came back to the Cavs after the injury. Keon Ellis came back too, and that was help. Keon Ellis, by the way, leads the Cavs since he's joined the Cavs in steals and blocks.
Really?
Yeah, so he was there for. I don't know about blocks. He has 6. He has 5 steals. Okay, when they said about his high energy defense when they brought him in, it's shown up. You know, so they beat the Nets there. So they're 38-24. They are now in 4th place in the East. They were in 3rd for a little bit there because of their win against the Knicks, but because of those 2 losses, they kind of fell backwards a bit. So this is their games until our next 10-cent beer night. Okay, so Tuesday, by the time you hear this, you'll already know that
they're going to be playing Detroit.
Yep, Detroit and Cleveland. Evan Mobley bobblehead night.
You going?
Yes, I'll be there actually.
I figured you would. Anytime there's a bobblehead, you're always there.
Not always, but I was fortunate to get last year's and this year's. And they have multiple bobbleheads. I got the Mitchell one last year. But this is going to be good. J.B. Bickerstaff back in Cleveland, number 1 team, and hopefully Donovan Mitchell and Dean Wade will be healthy for this one. And then Max Strus says, I guess, on his way, but Atkinson says he's expecting him to be in the regular season eventually. Sunday, yes, there's no games between Tuesday and Sunday.
Wow.
Sunday, March 8th. They've played a lot in their defense.
Yeah, but then you have to give them time to rest some of these guys healing up.
Right. ABC, 1 o'clock. The Boston Celtics in Cleveland. So that one's going to be a tough one. And then next Monday here, so they're going to play back-to-back here. Monday on FanDuel, 7 p.m. in Cleveland, they play the Philadelphia 76ers. Right now, if we look at the conference here, so they're going to play the number 1 and number 2 seed in the East there. They're 8.5 behind Detroit. They're 3 behind the Celtics. So, I mean, they're not far from number 2. And anything could change. They're not far from number 1 either. And then if we look at the 76ers are number 6. So these are playoff potential matchups here. All 3. So you got to win. You have to win. You got to find a way to get over the hump and win. You got to find a way to stay healthy. These games will test you. And it's just vitally important you find a way to win. So, yeah, right now it's Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavaliers, Raptors, and 76ers are your 1 through 6. Your 7 through 10, which would be the play-in
game.
Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, and Charlotte. And Charlotte's playing very well behind Charlotte, you have the Bucks, who are 3 games back, so they could still be in the play in Milwaukee. And then you have the Bulls, who are 5 games back. Everybody else is a little way too back for the conversation. Nets did tie the Pacers for last in the East at 15 wins. Pacers were dead last all season until this point. So
that's surprising.
It's
I mean, I know they I don't know.
They had all those injuries.
I know they had a lot of injuries, but
right.
But that just they were a pretty good team, especially last year.
Right, they were in the finals
They
last
was in the
year.
finals.
But I mean, that was the Halliburton's hurt. They did lose a couple big guys. They added one in trade deadline in Vincent Zubac. The issue is Zubac came hurt. He was already banged up before they traded for him, and he still hasn't played yet in a Pacers
I mean,
uniform.
if you started, say the season started now, would you have them in last place?
No, I would have had.
I would have had them probably second or third.
I would have said 6th or 7th because of the Halliburton injury and the stuff and losing Miles Turner and all that. I knew they were going to dip, but I didn't think they would be last.
Well, you know what? You know why they fell apart.
What?
They got rid of Ricky.
I was thinking about that the other night. Now, Bob's got I know he's joking, but he's got a decent point. Because now I'm not going to say Freeman would have saved their season or anything crazy like that. But you know why they got rid of Freeman is they said, we have too many big men on this team. There's no point in retaining him. He's got to go somewhere where they need big guys. And then he goes to Minnesota, who doesn't need big guys. But they're trying to move him to small for it too.
Yeah.
But here was the knee slapper, is all their big guys got hurt, and they didn't just let Enrique go. They let
a couple guys.
They didn't bring back Thomas Bryant of the Cavs. Thomas Bryant was the last free agent that signed in the NBA, and that was when he signed with Cleveland. They didn't retain, and he's been playing well. He's been a sneaky signing for the Cavs. And they didn't bring him back. They didn't bring Enrique back. And then they were crying for more big men because they made a couple trades and lost some other guys. And like I said, Miles Turner, they traded.
It all fell apart when Ricky was gone. They let Ricky go.
Yeah, they traded away a couple other guys. I'm not going to look it up and whatnot. But trust me when I say things did not end up. That's why they have 15 wins right now, is what I'm trying to say. And they probably could have used Freeman's presence on that. He started a couple games with them last year.
I think if Freeman would have got some play time, he was just going to get better.
Right.
And I know or the Timberwolves, he's in the G League a lot. He ain't playing much. He needs to get up there. I'm telling you, this kid. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star.
No, but he can be a role player.
But he'll give you some minutes and he'll give you good play time. But what do we know? We're armchair quarterbacks.
Right. Well, we're rooting for the kid. I'm pulling up his stats to see if is there any G League I can go off. He has played 2 games for the Timberwolves. I mean, we're talking about at the tail end.
I think he got 4 points in those 2 games. I looked it up not too long ago. I mean, I like the kid. I just wish they'd let him play. I mean.
Right.
I would love to see him in a Cavs uniform myself. That's never going to happen, but
I don't want to say never. I mean, they cleared out their they have 2-way contracts right now, but they cleared out a lot of them because guys got traded or moved up. So, I mean, especially if we're talking about reunions for next summer, that's a potential. I mean, there's going to be some 2-way.
I watched the LA game last night. Lakers and the Sacramento.
Right.
And I seen LeBron out there. He looks like he's getting slower and slower and slower. I mean, he's getting 40 years old, I don't know. He just...
Well,
he didn't look like the LeBron I knew from the beginning.
Right. I just found Enrique's G League stats this year: 18.2 points per game and 8.9 rebounds. So, I mean, he's producing. Yeah, he's producing.
But they didn't,
But here's the thing with the LeBron thing.
My thing is your last place, you got 15 wins. Bring these kids up and let them play.
They probably will. They're going to wait till a little bit.
They wait till it was too late.
They're going to just do their thing at the end of the day. And, here's the... he's not with the Pacers anymore. Remember that.
Right.
Minnesota's a winning team right now.
Oh, that's okay.
Right.
I'm thinking.
So we were defending the fact of keeping him in Indiana, but they didn't. So Bob, he's in Minnesota, right? Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Right. No, but if he was in Indiana, he probably would have been called up by now. That's the honest truth. But
yeah. Minnesota's winning, so I got you.
So
I just think Indiana should have gave him a shot.
Right. Look, he will. I mean, especially, and that's what's great about the G League and the development, and especially with the Cavs. We were at the Akron Kent game. We'll get to that in a sec here, but we were talking to a Kent fan who was just he was busting our guts is what he was doing. He was just messing with, and he asked me. I was wearing an Enrique Freeman jersey. He goes, "What jersey were?" I said, "Enrique Freeman." He goes, He was something else. He was like watching him on this court. He goes, he goes, he was good. He was
like that guy that we was down in. When we went down after the game,
right.
An older gentleman walked by me, and I'm saying older than me,
yeah.
but walked by me and says, "I hate to say this, but you guys got a great team."
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, well, this could be a year that we do something."
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully we can go move in. We do got a good team, though.
We do.
We got a good
and
team.
I'm looking for. We'll talk about that in a sec. But the reason I'm bringing it up is I said I hope that he ends up in Cleveland, referring to Freeman, and he said, "Well, Cleveland is really good at developing players on the G League level," and he's right. I mean, we have Dean Wade, Craig Porter Jr. These are guys that were in the G League, got called up, and then got main contracts, okay? Naquan Tomlin just got his standard NBA contract recently after Cavs after Cavs trades and whatnot and cleared some roster space there. Another guy, it wasn't through the Cavs G League. He was briefly with the Charge, but he was with another team before that, so it's not... So they helped develop him a little more, but he didn't start in Cleveland. But Sam Merrill, who was drafted by Milwaukee, he's got the largest contract for the last pick of any NBA draft right now. But Milwaukee gave up. Well, they won the championship, so they had to save the roster spots to try to win another championship, which they didn't. But it was logical why they pulled the plug on him. Cavs bring him in. They put him in the G League. Now he's a consistent starter.
Well,
Like he starts when Dean Wade's hurt, basically, or if James Harden. If any of the guards or forwards or small forward is hurt, Sam Merrill's going to start. And this G League for Cleveland has done so much for these guys here. And if Freeman hypothetically were to sign a two-way deal, he would benefit greatly from it. And we brought that with the G League. It wasn't just Freeman, but Bronny James' name was because LeBron's name has been brought up as far as coming back to Cleveland. Now they would have to trade for Bronny, and I don't think they're going to do that. Bronny has gotten better, and I think LA's going to give him an honest shot next year. I think he'll get more playing time. But if he were hypothetically to be traded to Cleveland, and I don't know what Cleveland would give up for him, he would be in a situation where he could build his talents and make it better. So. We're out of time for the first there, but reminder, Cavs got 3 games this week against 3 of the top 6 in the East. So hopefully Mitchell will be, and Dean Wade at least will be healthy. If Max Strus could show up at some point, this would be great, but no rush, but it would be great to see everybody healthy on the floor. Mobley has done well since he's been back too. I'll mention that. When we get back, we're on the last week of college hoops, regular season. We'll talk about that, and then spring training and all that. Mm-hmm. We have a lot to talk about. That and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our second segment of our first 10-cent beer night of March as the madness is slowly creeping in.
March Madness is coming.
Right.
But
before that, because I'll forget if we don't bring it up, Bob, what is the latest on our high school basketball broadcast?
Well, by the time you see this show, our last broadcast of the season will be over. And we're doing the district semifinals. The Norton Panthers are taking on the Hubbard Eagles, and that's Tuesday night, which is we're on Wednesday. From Norton High School, and it's probably going to be our last broadcast of the season. We'll wait and see. We'll play by ear because a lot of the local area teams that we're trying to cover, they're going to, probably not going to be going any much farther. Norton possibility, of course, they're 22-2 or 21-2 or something like that. They possibly can go on to the regions, but they'll be going to a regional that it might be a little too far for our broadcasting area. So
That's fine.
We'll see. We'll talk to everybody after this game and see what they want to do.
There you go.
But the possibility it's going to be our last broadcast.
You guys have done a very good job, especially since the football.
I can't believe the the calls and stuff, the texts and the emails and stuff we're getting, saying that a great job. And I posted. I'll tell you the truth. I post when our games. I'll post on the communities that we're going to. I'll go to their Facebook pages and stuff like that. I posted the game's going to be Norton. Hubbard's game's going to be on. We're going to be broadcasting the game, and I already got on the Norton Talk Facebook page, and I already got, I think, 47 likes on that page. And I'm not friends. It's just a community page, so people are seeing it. And we're getting the word out there. We had a great run, and I'll get with the guys after this is over with and see if they want to continue doing like football in the fall and stuff like that. That's going to be up to them. I'm not going to tell anybody they want to do it. So, but Fifth Dimension Radio's, our listenership's picked up big time.
Right.
Since we started doing this. So anyway, keep check out our Facebook page, Fifth Dimension Radio. We'll keep you updated on everything that's going on with the station and stuff like that.
There you go. Here you go. So I do want to start going forward with giving everybody a Columbus Crew update, because that's the MLS team of the state, weekly, because they only play really once a week. And just to bring that to the show, so this past week they tied Kansas City by 2. And both guys that scored their goals scored the 2 goals from their previous game in their loss to Portland. They're under a different coach this time. Wessam Hassam Moha Abu Ali, yes, that is his entire name, scored the first goal in the 33rd minute this past week. Diego Rossi scored the second goal with 82 on the 82nd minute. Again, they tied at 2 there. He scored the tying goal there. This Saturday they play the Chicago Fire at 7:30 p.m. And that is home. So watch out for that. Should be a very chilly game. Actually, no, rainy game. Yeah, it's going to be nice. Temperature-wise, it's going to be good in Columbus, but it's going to be...
Have you seen their new stadium?
Yes, I've been there.
I have never been.
Beautiful. And that's why I don't want to get you riled up,
But you know what? The stadium's in Columbus.
They moved it closer to Columbus, yeah.
It's in Columbus.
Yeah. It was out. The old one was out. Was a little
bit outside,
yeah,
but
yeah. So Haslam did the opposite of what he's doing.
Yeah, and groundbreaking for that stadium is today.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. There. So back to focusing on college hoops here. Ohio State last week went 1-1, and not in the way you would think. Wednesday they lost at Iowa 57-74. Okay, Sunday they beat number 8 Purdue 82-74. So out of those games, I would have told you I think they're going to beat Iowa, and I think they're going to lose to Purdue. It was actually the opposite. So that was a big upset for Ohio State there, as they're 18-11 now. Their last games of the season. Okay, Wednesday. So by the time you hear, it'll be going on. By the time you hear this, it'll be on Peacock 7:30 p.m. They're at Penn State. Okay. The last time they played Penn State, let me pull it up here, they did win 84-78, and that was the day, that was almost at Christmas. No, January 26th. So that was a month after Christmas there. Saturday, March 7th, 5:30 p.m. on Fox, they're going to play Indiana again. And the last time they played Indiana, they actually may not have played Indiana. No, I must be thinking about football. Believe it or not, because of how big the Big Ten is, they haven't played Indiana yet, so this is the first time. So this is the first time Ohio State men's has played Indiana since football played them and lost to them, and Indiana win and won it all. Which 2 different sports, I know, but still. So Ohio State right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the Big Ten. They're 10-8 in the conference, 18-11 overall, so not bad. Indiana's just behind them.
And that win over Purdue put them back in the picture as a bubble team to make March Madness.
Right. Purdue's now 15th in the nation. Yeah, 5 ranked teams in the Big Ten. Team up north is 3rd. Nebraska's 9, Michigan State's 8, Illinois' 11th, and Purdue's now 15th. And remember, Purdue was like number 1 for a good chunk of this year, too.
They were number 1 when Akron played them.
Yeah, they were. Speaking of Akron, we can talk because what a week they had. They went 2-0 last week, and monumental wins across the board, too. Last Tuesday, they beat Buffalo at home, which means John Gross has tied the program record for most home game win streak, longest home game win streak ever set by Keith Dambrot in 2017. 30 straight home wins. They beat Buffalo 99-85. And then Friday night, Bob, me and you were there. We were at Kent at the Max.
We were at Kent.
Right. And I love how
I love how the Kent fan behind us, the brick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. But we were at the Max, and it cracks me, but it's called the Max Center. It's not even about the Mid-American Conference, but I think they did that on purpose.
I think it's called the Mac Convocation Center or something like that.
It's Mid-Health Athletic.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like, yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's to me, it's a beautiful old arena.
Right.
Okay, and it's old because you got the rafters that block half your view if you're sitting upstairs.
Right.
You know, ain't like these newer places, but it's a beautiful place.
Right.
Yeah.
92-70. They whooped on.
That is for that rivalry, that's a blowout.
Right. Right. And I know Akron Beacon, of course they're going to side with Akron. They wrote an article recently about how they don't think Kent's got enough time to figure out their Akron problem if they were to meet again. And they could.
They could. Right. As of right now, they can meet in the second round.
Right.
If both teams would win the first round.
Now, but we have a couple more games left, Bob. And
and here we're at Central Michigan on Tuesday night.
Right. It'll be over by the time they hear this.
Central Michigan needs this win to make it into the playoffs.
Right.
If they lose, they're going to need losses by. I just looked it up because right now Central Michigan is 6-11.
It'd be probably Buffalo and Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, yeah. Buffalo has a tiebreaker against Central Michigan.
Right. UMass is in the mix there, too.
This is last game for Central Michigan. The other two has 2 games left. They're 6-11. The other ones are 6-10. It's the last MAC game. They need to win it to have 7 to force Buffalo. Bowling. They got the tiebreaker against Bowling Green. They're all 6-10, 6-10, 6-11. Central Michigan needs this win against Akron.
Right.
We don't want to see that.
No.
But you know they're going to be playing hard at Central Michigan.
They will.
To try to get that game.
And a point you made, Bob, while we were at the Kent game here, if Central Michigan does not get this, and I don't think they will. I got Akron winning. I'm sorry, Central. If they don't get this, there will not be a single Michigan team in the Mid-American Conference tournament in Cleveland.
For the first time in a while.
Yeah, if ever.
Because Eastern Michigan's always had good teams.
Right. Western, too's been the conversation as well.
Western's more of a football program, though.
Yeah, but Western's had their time there. But, so yeah, like Bob had said, they're going to play Central Michigan at Central Michigan, 7 p.m. ESPN+. Plus. Again, by the time they hear this, they'll know. Friday in Akron, CBS Sports Network just picked up this. 6 p.m. Northern Illinois' potential last game in Akron. Okay, they're leaving the MAC. They're last in the MAC. And if they win this game, John Gross has the record for longest home streak in Akron program history. So,
yeah, this is the last year for Northern Illinois in the MAC. So, in all sports.
So yeah,
that's going to bring the team back down to 12 team, more easy to manage, easy to manage. You've got 13 teams in the MAC, and that's why UMass has already played. This is their last MAC game, where everybody else got one more game to go.
Right, right there. So this is what things are looking at. Number 1 in the MAC is the 19th ranked overall Miami, Ohio, who is 16-0 in conference play, 29-0 over.
And even if they would get a loss, we'll say the next 2 games, they still got the tiebreaker over Akron. So
right.
Akron's guaranteed. They already clinched the number 2 seed.
Right. So if Miami though were to lose the next 2
in a row,
and Akron wins their 2.
Akron will be in first place.
Right. So I would prefer for them to stay undefeated till Akron meets them in the tournament. That'd be my way, but that's just me there. But Miami, Ohio, though, scored a game winner against Western Michigan on Friday night.
Miami, Ohio, just last couple games is scraping by.
Right. They're getting it done.
But yet they're still averaging more points per game in the conference than Akron is. They're averaging 90.2 to Akron's 89.9.
It's that close.
So it's going to be a good game if they get the rematch.
Akron number 2, of course, like Bob had mentioned, 15-1 in the conference, 24-5 overall. Kent State is number 3, 12-4 in the conference. 2 of those losses coming from Akron, 21-8 overall. I'm just going to mention who right now is clinched and/or in the conversation for the MAC. 4th right now would be Toledo at 10-6 in the conference, 16-13 overall. Ohio U 9-7 in the conference, 5th, 15-14 overall. Bowling Green is 6th right now, 8-9 in the conference, 17-13 overall.
Here come the mix-up.
Yep. So you got 7th is Buffalo, who is 6-10 in the conference, 16-13 overall.
And they have the tiebreaker over UMass, but do not have it over Bowling Green.
That's crazy there. Central Michigan, who we were just talking about, 6-10, 10-19 overall. Matt and UMass 6-11, 15-15 overall. And that would be pretty much. I don't see Ball State sneaking in this, no matter what they do.
No, I think they're 2 games behind.
Yeah, the only way Ball State could make it is if Buffalo, Central Michigan, and UMass lose their all their games this week, whether it's 1 or 2, and Ball State were to win both their games this week, which I'll pull up their schedule here. They have Western Michigan and Central Michigan. So that's realistic, Bob. So I take that back. Ball State might not be out because you're playing Western Michigan, who, I mean, it was a stone. It's a leap of faith to have them even in the conversation because they're at 4 wins. But if they beat them in Central Michigan, Ball State could be the 8th seed there.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
But like I said,
we'll see.
It's a fight now.
It is. Well, I'm glad Akron not clinched their position there. They will be definitely in the tournament for in Cleveland there for the MAC, and it's great also to have the MAC being hosted near us too. Okay. You know, and most of the teams are from Ohio.
Mid-American Conference main offices are in Cleveland.
Right.
That's why it's in Cleveland.
Right. Well, that and the beautiful stadium Dan Gilbert has at Rocket Arena. Because, you know, for football, it's in Detroit. The MAC Bowl there, yeah. So, I mean.
It's Ford Field.
Yep. Where the Lions play. And we'll talk about them in a little bit because there's a big
my thing is here. Here's my thing. You automatically get a bid to the NCAA tournament by winning the MAC. All right, what would happen if Akron, we'll say Akron wins the MAC, knocks off undefeated Miami at the time.
Right.
In the championship game, that would make them what? They're 29. What are they? 29, 28. What are they? 27-0.
Yeah.
Miami right now, 27.
Yeah, 27.
So 3 games. That would make them 29-1. 30 games. It's going to be a 3 game. Well, no, it's going to be making them like 32-1 because they got 2 games left.
Right.
Being ranked this late in the season,
29-0 right now. Yeah, I thought it was 27 too.
Okay, so 29. They got to play 3 games. They got 2 games left, so that makes them up to 31.
Yeah.
Then they got 3. They go 35. They'll be if they go into the MAC championship game at 34-0. Ranked right now, they're 21st in the nation. I think 21st, 22nd.
It'd be 33-0, I think, by the time they make it to the championship. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
If they would lose in the championship game, being ranked that high during the regular season, would they be an at-large bid?
I would hope.
And would Akron be somebody one of? I think the Mid American Conference. I mean, the NCAA needs to look at this and give. Hey, you're going to have. I was reading an article last night. They're expecting the ACC to have 7 teams, the Southeast Conference 6 teams, the Big Ten possible 6 teams.
I would say so. The Big Ten's doing well.
And then, of course, I also read the article. If you go to Yahoo Sports, and I was reading last night, a guy wrote an article about what is the mid-majors and what is the best mid-major conference in the country. His number one is the MAC. And we're talking college basketball.
Yeah.
He's doing about basketball. Of all the conferences, he's got the MAC listed as the number one conference in Akron is right now. Miami's second in the mid conference ratings, behind Gonzaga, which is also ranked in the major rankings. Akron is 6th right now. They moved up from 8 to 6.
Right.
So, and the funny thing about it is they lost to Troy, and Troy's rated 7th underneath Akron.
Right.
So, I think the MAC. It's about time. You got 2 MAC schools in the top 10 in the major conference ratings. There should be 2 teams going to that.
Right. Well, in that situation, if they don't, the first people that are going to be complaining is not just the Miami fans, but it's going to be the Gross family, because you have
you got 2 brothers playing,
right? And John would defend his brother and say, "Look, we both should deserve to be there." I think that's the art. And actually, rumor has it, it's just a rumor, we'll see. But I guess Syracuse might look for a coaching change. And top of the list is Miami of Ohio's coach, his half-brother, Gross's. Is supposedly that's the guy they're looking at. We'll hearsay right now. It's still a little early before those moves. But it's not too... I mean, after the tournament, you'll hear for sure about any of those kind of moves. But... Yeah, I mean, Bob, we have talked for years about...
Mid-American Conference don't get no respect.
No.
I'm sorry.
And it's the last...
it's getting better.
It is getting better. The last time 2 teams were in the big tournament for the MAC was 95. And that was the Zips and Ball State. They both made it in 95. And I forget the technical... But since then, no. And that was one of the reasons why Keith Dambrot left, too. Was the MAC wasn't getting... And it was only... if he fell short...
Well, he went. Damrod left to go to a major conference, the
right.
Big East. They always they'll get 4 or 5 teams easily.
Right.
The MAC is not getting no respect.
No,
and we got some good teams. We played the big boys.
Right.
We played Purdue. We played James Madison. These all teams are going to be there. Yale's going to be there.
Right.
They're going to win the Ivy League, and of course Yale beat us 115 to 100.
Right.
But that's all.
There you go. We got to take a break. When we come back, Brown's got a new star right tackle. We got all the information coming up. All right, back to it here at 10 Cent Beer Night on FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
We got some breaking news. Zip Shamma-Scott is your MAC Player of the Week. After their great
the week before that, it was Tawari Johnson.
There you go.
2 weeks in a row.
The 3 guards, Scott comes off the bench, and so does Young. And then you have Johnson, the starting point guard. They're all 3 point guards in a way. And they because that's the new thing that's happened in college and the NBA is you have multiple point guards on the floor. It's to throw everybody because you have the shooting, you have the handles, you have the passing, so the ball moves swifter. There's better shots taken. Nothing against a normal shooting guard, but it just opens up the floor. And the other night against Kent, when Akron took off, they had the 3 point guards on the floor, and I pointed that out. I said all 3 of them are on the floor, and they were their top 3 scorers too. Yeah. So
so 2 weeks in a row now, MAC Player of the Week's been from Akron. So
and
good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to what this group can do in the MAC tournament. I am very faithful in what they can do. But Bob, part of me thinks if Johnson, and his name is slipping my mind, but the guy out of North Carolina that went to Utah State. Utah State. If they would have stayed and made their promise
It's on tip of my tongue.
to stay with Akron after their loss in the tournament last year, the big tournament.
Aliyah? No.
No, not Ali. No, he was way. That was way after him.
I know. God, I can't think of his name.
The English guy, yeah, big man. But if those two specifically would have stayed, what this would have looked like.
And they're probably thinking too.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing well where they're at. They are. I've checked up on both of them. But it's like part of me is like,
God, I can't think of his name.
I mean, this would be stacked. I mean, Miami was probably sweating at the thought about Akron, but they'd be pouring sweat if we had those two still there. But it is what it is.
Speaking of the Akron Zips, the baseball team is 6-6.
Yes.
They swept this weekend. They swept North Carolina AT&T in baseball. Took 3 out of 3, and they have their first home game. After you of course, it'll be after you hear this, but Tuesday night at Steeles Field, down at the campus of the University of Akron against Dayton. And this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're home in the first conference matches against UMass. So, but they're 6-6. So, a great start for the Zips baseball team. I think last year they started at 1-5 or something like that. So,
yeah, James Okonakwo, and he has not played very much this year. Actually, I mean, 2.7 points per game.
Yeah, well, if he was at Akron, he'd be playing.
He'd be playing, yeah. And I mean, absolutely. But no, that's good about the Zips baseball because that's a program that's still building. I mean, we forgot to mention about a couple weeks ago, Kent beat number 13 Tennessee Volunteers in baseball. I mean, that was a big win for them.
And Akron played Duke the other day. Of course, they lost 8-1.
Right.
But they played, and Duke's 13th in the country. So, well, anyway, the Zips baseball. We got to give a little shout out for the Zips baseball team.
Nate Johnston, who I was talking about before, he's MAC Player of the Year last year. 12.1 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.6 assists.
Is that what we talking about?
Yeah, and Kansas State's not expected to be part of any tournament. They're 11 and 18. They're 15th in the Big 12.
You know, a lot of these kids go. They transfer to these bigger schools, and Kansas State's a big school.
Yeah.
And them in Kansas are usually top notch teams.
Yeah.
For the recognition of the NBA scouts.
Right.
You know, and I know that. Yeah, we got a Ricky Freeman got drafted, but you know, and I know a lot of these. If they get drafted out of these mid-major conferences,
right,
they're usually real high draft choices. I mean, low
or picked up for summer
round
league
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know,
well, there's only 2 rounds in the NBA.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
The 1,000th pick. I don't know.
There you go. So real quick, we're gonna focus. We're going to go to the Browns real quick because this
Browns, yeah.
NFL.
Let's go to the Brook Park Browns.
NFL free agent offseason just started, and it's already crazy. First, I want to say Kevin Stefanski was at he's Atlanta Falcons coach now. He was had a press conference at the Combine because the Combine was this past week. It just wrapped up in Indianapolis, and they were talking to him. They were asking questions. Shedeur got propagated. He talked about how much he actually did love him and how much he loved coaching him and how good of a kid he is and everything. They asked him about when did he know he was going to be fired. Jimmy Haslam informed Stefanski Thursday before the Bengals game that he said, you might want to get your family to start packing up their things. We're going to make a change. So he knew in that game. So props to him for pulling out the win, which the win was important for Stefanski, the fans, Myles Garrett, Schmidt, the kicker that made the game-winning field goal, and Shedeur Sanders. That was a big win for all of them right there. No exaggeration. And, I mean, again, what people brought up is like, why would Stefanski just try winning when he was on his way out? Well, here's the thing, too. It's not only to make him look good and he landed another coaching gig.
He did.
If they lose to Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, which, for the record, I'm all about winning. I'm glad they didn't do this. If they would have lost, Browns get the first overall pick, and they probably pick the kid out of Indiana. If they lose those 2 games. So Stefanski winning those last 2 games robbed them of Mendoza.
He had motive. And I'm sure in the Pittsburgh game, he probably heard rumors then too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he did. Oh, he probably had heard rumors.
I'll screw him.
Yeah. So it's like screw him by win. And those were 2 games I wanted him to win. And I'm about and I like Shedeur. I want to give him a chance. So do we need him? Here's the thing: is if you're going to win a Super Bowl, and I'm not saying they're close, right?
They're not close.
I'm stating a fact here. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, all you need is a quarterback that can get it done. It doesn't have to be a top 5 guy. A quarterback that can get it done, the protection weapons around him, and a defense to back him up. That's all you need. And, of course, a good kicker, too. But, so, you just need a QB that wins and gets it done, okay? That's all it comes down to. We don't need the top prospect. Yes, it's nice to think about, but we had one of the top prospects before, and people chased him out of town. And now he'll face Stefanski twice a year right now. But that's besides. So kudos, seriously, props to Kevin Stefanski for still pulling out those wins despite him knowing he was goner. Browns pulled off a trade today. Okay, Bob, listen to this. They have made a trade with the Houston Texans. Yes, that Houston Texans. And the same one we've made some interesting trades with before. They have traded the 5th overall pick they got from the Raiders in the Kenny Pickett trade to the Texans for right tackle Titus Howard, and he has agreed to a 3-year extension worth about $60 million, $63 million there. Okay, he's coming off of his rookie contract, so this is going to be his 5th year, I believe. He's been with the league. 6, excuse me. Yeah, he was drafted 2019. He was a first-round pick. No Pro Bowls or awards yet, but this is a guy, he's played both guard positions, both tackle positions.
He's gonna boost the offensive line.
Right. No sacks last year. Struggled in the run protection game, but limited in penalties. Not many false starts. He did have some decent amount of holdings, but nothing over the top. And he's healthy. This guy shows up and plays games. Big guy too, 6'5". He's expected to be their new starting right tackle. So they've already made a trade. They traded day 3 pick to get a starting right tackle.
I think you're going to get an offensive tackle in draft too.
Right. Well, here's what Barry has said. He wants a veteran offensive line. He doesn't want to draft an O-lineman high and put him out there.
Well, he ain't going to get a high one. I'm just saying.
But there's good ones available. That's why. When they did their interviews, Bob, for the and they're going to do a lot of interviews in private workout. We're just starting. We're scratching the surface here. But for Combine, the first 3 interviews were all wide receivers. Cardell Tate of Ohio State. Jordan Tyson of Arizona State, brother of Jalen Tyson of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Matt guy, I don't have in front of me, the kid from USC. They interviewed him too, but it was all running backs. They did interview 2 interesting quarterback prospects: Drew Ilar of Medina, who played for Penn State. He grew up a Browns fan. Carson Beck of Miami Hurricanes, because he won 2 championships with Todd Monken down in Georgia. So Monken, Beck said, I would love to be with the Browns because of Monken. So he wants the Browns to pick him because of the coach. Ty Simpson, quarterback at Alabama, he's expected to be the 2nd quarterback pick of the draft, okay? He said, they were interviewed by him about the teams that interviewed him, and he said, Browns got it right with Monken. He said, I like him. Mm-hmm. And Monken really likes Simpson too, but he's expected to be a first-round selection. I don't want to run into it, but here's some quarterback updates for you, Bob. Okay, as far as that goes, we already got 3 quarterbacks here. Watson and Sanders are expected to compete, and Barry brought Dylan Gabriel still in the mix too. Okay, Malik Willis' name's been brought up, but they're saying don't expect it. It's going to be too much money. They're not going to be able to take the contract in. Okay. Anthony Richardson of the Colts has made a trade request. He's the 4th overall pick of 2022. I'm going by memory here. 4th overall pick. 3rd quarterback taken behind Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Okay, and there's rumors the Vikings could be interested. Browns are rumored to be interested as well. And that's the thing is, his contract's cheap, and he would come kind of cheap too. So is that somebody they're going to bring in and say, we'll get... I mean, he has an arm. He does have an arm.
I don't.
But, I mean...
Do we need to keep bringing quarterbacks in?
I don't know.
do we? I mean,
But here's my question is, Deshaun's getting paid regardless. Shadur's got the upper hand regardless. If you're Dylan Gabriel and you trade for Anthony Richardson, are you sitting there going, what the hell is going on? Like, that poor guy. I don't dislike Dylan. You know, I wasn't huge when they picked it, but he's on this team. He plays hard for us. I'm pulling for the best for the guy. I honestly am. But he's got to be sitting. He watched Shedeur become a Pro Bowler, throwing 8 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. He gets booed when he fills in for Shedeur. And then if the Browns bring in Anthony Richardson on top of Deshaun Watson, Shedeur says, you're going to be sitting there like, I was picked ahead of Shedeur. I was expected to be long-term after Watson. And now, what am I supposed to be? Like, you sit there, just trade the guy. Put him out of his misery. Get him in a situation where he can thrive. Don't you already spent a 3rd-round pick on him.
That's the Browns organization.
I know.
That is the Browns organization. They don't got a clue.
I know.
And it all starts from the upper levels.
All right. It's you know, yesterday, Vikings released Aaron Jones, running back and defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. Those are some big names. So the free agency pool just added 2 good players there. Ravens are reportedly to have a market topping offer for center Tyler Linderbaum. This is big because the Browns were in the discussion. Like, they haven't talked, they're not allowed to, but because Monken went to Cleveland, the speculation was he likes both Monken, and Harbaugh went to the Giants. He was going to weigh offers from the Browns, the Giants, and the Ravens. But Ravens really, I mean, they're smart if they keep him. He is very, very good. But Browns were looking at that. Your Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker III, is rumored to have way options outside Seattle. There was another trade done today. Well, for Chiefs cut Jawan Taylor, their starting right tackle. This happened right after the Browns traded for I just bumped out of it. Excuse me, Howard. Jawan was a 1st-round pick from the Jaguars, and was signed in the offseason there. He played for Florida, University of Florida there. So that's too many false starts. This guy, he jumped too much, and that was one of the reasons why they let him go. This was a big trade here outside of what happened with Cleveland. Lions traded David Montgomery for a 4th-round pick, Juice Scruggs, and a 7th-round pick to the Houston Texans. So that means David Montgomery will most likely be the starter in Houston, or if not the second with Willie Marks. That means also that Nick Chubb will not be returning to Houston. And
that's probably the reason.
Yeah, well, that and Joe Mixon, they're not sure if he's ever going to come back. I guess that injury is serious. So David Montgomery is now with the Texans, and that's a good fit for him there. And then former Ohio State Buckeye and Cleveland kid, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, who's also a former Pro Bowler, was just cut by the Commanders today. So trades, some good free agency moves, and then the one I haven't mentioned yet, former 1st overall pick Kyler Murray is expected to be released too by the Cardinals, unless they find a good trade, which right now they're not finding, and and I do know it was brought up. Raiders are interested because Raiders are talking about if Geno Smith gets cut, they'll be interested. No, Vikings, excuse me. Vikings are interested in either Murray, Smith, and they could be interested in Tua. And I will tell you, if they land Tua, that's going to rejuvenate his career because they got the weapons Tua can work with. Tua's out of those 3. Tua's probably their best option. I think Tua with the Vikings and what they have right now would work, and that is one of the reasons why in our Dynasty League, mine, not yours, I picked up Tua on the waiver wire because somebody come. I said, I bet you if he goes to Minnesota, he's going to have some worth, and I can flip him for picks. So
I'm going to offer more money. You ain't going to get him.
You're not in our league. But
I never was asked. Nobody ever asked me about.
It's a year-round thing. You would have got so tired of it.
Nobody ever asked me to do anything.
Anyway, Cleveland Guardians are 5-6 in spring training. There, a lot of home runs. Some good. Bazana hit a home run before he head to Team Australia.
Banana will start at Columbus, though.
Yeah, that's surprising. Yeah, Bob was telling me that over the weekend. I thought for sure he would have an opening day shot.
No, he won't be.
I think he should. Just start off. Get him, DeLautner in there.
Because he hasn't played a lot. He's been injured a lot.
Makes sense. I'm not going to argue with that.
He will be in. He'll start.
I'm just saying.
I don't see him down in Columbus very long.
No.
Okay, I'll be honest with you.
Probably June. I would say June. If
by June he should be up to the big league.
That's what they normally have done. That's what they've done to prospects in the past. Jody Garrett, Francisco Lindor, just higher up prospect. You're familiar with Jody Garrett? That was a blast from the past. Sizemore was similar too.
Yeah.
I believe he was called up in June when he was first starting. So, and that's who Bazana's compared to offensively. Is that when they drafted, they said he's second base, but they compared him to Grady Sizemore. Like not just Cleveland, other scouts.
Is he going to have the Grady ladies?
He could. We just need him to stay healthy.
Bazano ladies, or what they call them?
Bananas for Bazano.
Yeah.
There you go. And I did. This was very encouraging too. Bob, top prospect Daniel Espino pitched a inning yesterday. 9 pitches. 1 ball was hit hard, but other than I think he had 1 strikeout, but it was perfect. He hit 98 on the gun. Yeah. That could be Bob. If this guy comes up and gets in the rotation, he's as good as they hope he is. That's going to be a difference maker right there.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we got the pitching, so.
Right.
I'm just worried about. I still think we need that one big bat.
We'll see. That's why I thought they would just throw their prospects to the Wolves and be like, "Hey, here you go to start already." So
yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. We're out of time today. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Follow the Fifth Dimension Radio page and the 10 Cent Beer Night page for any of the high school broadcast updates or any updates whatsoever. Thank you, Bob.
Well, thank you, Seth, for letting me sit next to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for owning the station. Enjoy the warm weather. It's going to be rainy, but that's time to sit down and watch some basketball and everything, and enjoy the sports, the spring training too, as well as that will also be on TV. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about MAC tournament, Big Ten tournament, all the March Madness is here, and I'm here for it. Yeah, we'll talk about the Cavs and how they did against the Eastern Conference this week, and then we'll talk about NFL free agency will be almost underway by the time our next 10 Cent Beer Night, so we'll have a little more to talk about. And if it's crazy today, I can't imagine what it's going to look like next week. So we'll talk about that and more. And without further ado, I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Go Buckeyes, go Zips, go Cavaliers. Let's see some good hardwood basketball this week. Take care.